take a break from one of us?
We just walk out and take a picture.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. We'll go ahead and get our meeting started this morning. Good morning and welcome to the first of the meeting of the new year, January the 3rd, 2023, Jackson County Board of Supervisors. I hope everyone had a great holiday over the past couple of weeks, and now we're ready to start a new year. So I thank y'all for being here with us this morning, and we'll start out this morning with our devotion, and that belongs to District 2 this month.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
President.
Morris.
Thank you. Come up, Pastor Sims. I want to Happy New Year to everyone. My pastor for devotion this meeting is Pastor Sims from 2nd Missionary Baptist Church of Moss Point, Johnny Sims Jr.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy New Year to everyone. This great board of supervisors that we have here. Thanks for the opportunity to serve this morning to Supervisor Morris. Let us pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you for you being who you are. We recognize that you walked with us through all of the years. Now you bring us to 2023. Moving forward, challenges from 22, but also adding challenges for 2023. We pray your presence be with us now, that you empower us and give us what we need to meet the challenges that are before us. Keep your presence with us, guide us, and keep us. Study the minds of these supervisors, that their mind is stayed on your business, that you work for this county to make it the best county that it can be. We pray in your glory now for the blessings of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor
Thank you,
Sims.
Pastor. All right, we'll stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, can we make sure that back door is shut so we can keep the crowd noise from coming in here? Thank y'all. All right, next on the agenda is our yearly swap of board president. So we need a motion to accept my resignation letter as board president for 2022.
So move.
Got a motion by Mr. Morris.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ross. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we have a letter accepting the resignation of Board Vice President Ken Taylor for 2022. Got a motion by Mr. Cumbus.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll go down. I'll make a motion to nominate Ken Taylor for president for 2023.
So move.
I got a motion by me, seconded by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Slide that down there for you, Barry.
Okay, we need a motion for election of a vice president. I make a motion to elect Mr. Troy Ross.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Cumbus, seconded by Mr. Sarge. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Okay, let's have a little fun now. This is going to be a challenge. We're going to recognize the Ocean Springs High School cheer team as state champions. We're going to do it a little bit differently. Y'all get up and come down here. We will. We will stay up here because there's just too many of us. There's a lot of y'all. We'll put you on top.
There you go.
Okay, I want to recognize our coaches, Robin Thomas, Teresa Sage, and Megan Jones. Where are y'all? Why don't y'all stand up so we can see
Yeah.
the sign?
They're taking some pictures. We're going to take one out.
There we go. Yeah, we're going to have the presentation, a quick picture here, then because of the size, we're going to take a small break, go out, get a real good picture on the stairs, okay? Teachers, coaches, help, speak.
You can just stand anywhere. We're all looking out.
I can probably project. Okay, well, let me read my script. I wasn't prepared for this. Well, as you can see, we won first at the state championship competition for 6A varsity. We are very proud of these girls. I was asked to kind of put together what it took for us to be able to win that, and so I'm just going to read you what I had emailed. I don't plan on saying this out loud, but that's okay. So hours upon hours of dedication, hard work, and commitment. The girls attended 2 different cheerleading camps this summer to learn their routine and to develop the necessary skills in order to execute their routine perfectly. In addition to daily practices, both during and after school, the girls also had multiple weeks of morning practices. So the girls essentially had 2-a-days for multiple weeks prior to our actual competition in December. This was in addition to cheering on our football hounds every Friday night as they fought hard from August through the end of November as they advanced to the South State Championship. This was also coupled with planning the subsequent pep rallies and various school and community-wide events to support the team throughout their long and successful season. The biggest thing, though, was their effort. These girls did not give up, even when faced with difficulty, illnesses, and adversity. All of their hard work paid off, and they got rewarded for that work. We have the 30 girls. They're not all here today, but they worked tirelessly for this win. We had already went to a competition the week before where we got 3rd, and then they were able to get 1st at the state. It was the first time that we were able to do this in 5 years. We are very proud of them, and I hope you all are too.
Okay, there are other people involved in this. The girls themselves dedicated themselves to doing an excellent job, and that's what they've done. Coaches are superb. They've had good support from the school system. Want to recognize parents because that is so significant, and it's close to us because one of us, Brian Fulton, is a parent. You want to say anything, Brian?
Well, yeah. I'm just proud of these girls. I saw them work hard this year. I think it's the best year that I've seen them do yet. And I know I'm proud of my daughter. She's worked hard over the last 5 years, and this is her senior year, and proud of her. But they did a great job. I went to the competition, and it was flawless. It was the best routine I've ever seen them do. And just congratulations, girls. Y'all did a good job and worked hard all year. Good job.
There's got to be some other parents out here. Raise your hands and stand up, please. Got to be. There you go. Does anyone want to make a comment other than how much you love your daughter? Y'all did good. Good job, parents.
I want to thank the parents, the coaches, and the girls, because youth athletics and high school athletics are really one of those core fundamental building blocks of society. It teaches them a work ethic, it teaches them to care about something, and they have to go earn it. So I really appreciate all the work, and I'm proud of y'all.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All of us. Here is the certificate. Jackson County Board of Supervisors Certificate of Recognition presented to Ocean Springs High School cheerleaders. On December 10th, 2022, the Ocean Springs High School cheerleaders were named the 6A All-Girl Cheer State Champions after a flawless performance during the Mississippi High School Activities Association cheer competition. Their success is attributed to many grueling hours of training that included summer camps, twice-a-day practices during the school year, all while cheering on and supporting the Greyhounds' great football team by planning pep rallies and coordinating community-wide events throughout their long and successful season. This dedicated group of 30 young women and their 3 coaches are a testament of hard work and perseverance. The board congratulates the Ocean High School cheerleaders on their achievement and is proud to have them as ambassadors for Jackson County. We look forward to what your futures hold. And at the bottom, there is, everyone knows the name Pele, the soccer player. I believe he passed away last week. A little comment from him. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing or learning to do. And this certainly applies to you gals, and we're so proud of you. Let's go outside and get a big picture.
Yeah. A little warm in here. Yeah, it'll start to listen and it'll mess up the picture. Yeah. I tell you, I love it.
Ended up kids not I gotta go up there. I'm gonna go up for the end of the month. And then I gotta go up for Chancellor in February. MAS is toward the end of the month too.
We for 2020.
I'll probably come up.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if my wife say, well, last time your wife said, well, nobody else, we started talking about you got to go this year. But see, you were last year, your wife ain't had nobody else. But see, last year, I couldn't have carried her with me because she had a
We've got room. Y'all can sit down now, I think.
Okay, that was fun. It is delightful to recognize younger generations because they're going to be sitting up here in the future. And let's help them along. Okay, next on the agenda is another recognition. Mr. Ray Lankford. He has been a 40-year volunteer at Our Daily Bread. Mr. Lankford. Mr. Lankford, if you would get up, please, and come forward.
40 years.
And I want to ask T. McCovey to come on in here and join us.
Yeah. He was coming anyway.
Yeah. He would have been here anyway. No. Okay. First of all, I'm going to preach a little bit. And come on in. Preach. Our Daily Bread. If you have never worked at Our Daily Bread on a volunteer basis, you should do it. Get with your church group, get someone, and go down there and volunteer, and you will never forget it, and you will be helping people that need help. T, take it from there.
Well, this is a very peculiar story here. Our Daily Bread has been in our community for the last 40 years. And Ray came to Our Daily Bread 40 years ago to receive a meal. And he was so grateful for this meal that he said, you know what, I'm going to volunteer. And so he went from volunteer to now we had to put him on the payroll because I am the board president for Our Daily Bread. And so we're just so grateful for him. And he told me, he said, now, Pastor T, how long is this going to take? Because I need to be cooking right now. And so he kind of left him short-handed at Our Daily Bread. And just to show you the impact of Our Daily Bread, we feed over 100 meals a day at Our Daily Bread. And it's people in our community that a lot of them don't come put together. There's some assembly that is required. And so we're just so grateful for him and his impact to our community, to Our Daily Bread. Congratulations.
We sincerely appreciate 40 years of service to Our Daily Bread by Ray Lankford. Thank you for your service and commitment to our community. May the Lord bless you and keep you all the days of your life. 2022.
That I may know him and the power of his resurrection. Amen. Yes, sir.
Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's move to item number 8, amendments to the agenda. Mr. Cumbus?
I don't have any.
Mr. Morris?
Don't have anything.
I have none. Mr. Ross?
None.
Mr. Bossard?
None.
Mr. Eldridge?
None.
Mr. Fulton?
No.
Mr. O'Neill?
I have one, y'all put me a slot under department heads for discussion on the coaches policy.
Evans? None. Any others that have, yes, go ahead.
We need to make an amendment to the consent agenda under rec department items. Item A, the name of the contractor should be J.E. Tower.
Okay, everyone got that? Anything else? Okay, we need a motion for an order to approve the amendments to the agenda. Motion by Mr. Cumbest, I will second it. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item number 9, general public comments. Anyone to have a comment? Come on up, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. My name is David Chancellor from Laurel, Mississippi. I bring the Pascagoula Gun Show into Pascagoula over to the Jackson County Fairgrounds, semi-annual, twice a year in May and November. And I have been doing so since 2010. And I've got an issue that's came before me here last week. The Election Commission had voted to move their voting machines in Friday before the annual Pascagoula Gun Show has been going on since November. We are out of that facility by at least 9 a.m. on Monday morning. I'm asking to come before the Board of Supervisors today if you would reverse that decision. I bring a lot of money into this county from out of state. I bring a lot of my vendors from out of state. This past November, I wrote a check to the Department of Revenue for $7,730. That's about twice a year I write that in the Department of Revenue. It brings a lot of boost into this economy. I don't understand why the election commissioner, Mr. Glasscox, wants to do it on Friday. I don't see why they couldn't set those few machines up after lunch on Monday. Basically, that's what I'm asking for. I advertise my shows, try to get out at least a year and a half in advance to keep the competition from coming in. There is other promoters in Mississippi. I do 11 to 12 shows from Corinth, Mississippi, all the way to the Gulf Coast, and I've been in it since 2002. And any questions?
How long have you been on the book, so to speak, for that date?
When Mr. Jim Hart was there, when Jim, I'd been after Jim for 2 years to ever get into that venue. And finally, one day after I did a show in Biloxi, I come by that Monday, and Jim said, "Hey, you want the first weekend of November?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." And I've been there ever since. The only time I did do a show in October, and I promised myself I'd never do that again because you cannot go against Cruising the Coast. That is a great event, but they do not come to the gun show. And so I was able to reverse it back from another venue. Mm-hmm. But I've been there since 2010, yes, sir.
Okay.
Let me ask a question. Gary, do we have the authority to reverse that decision of the Election Commission?
No, they're independently elected officers. You don't have the authority to reverse it. What you
Okay.
could do is talk to the chairman, Danny Glasscox, and see if something could be worked out. You do have control of the facility.
We own the building.
Yeah. But we've had this problem. This isn't the first time that we've had an issue with the gun show and the election commission saying an election was coming up. I remember this before, and we worked it out and we made it work. Because if it's a concern from the election commission about having the resources to get the machines up, the county can assist in a greater way if it's necessary, because, so that we make sure the elections are run smoothly and there's no problem.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that.
I don't either, Troy. I think we need to try to make it work, you know. And there's a lot more goes on there besides what this gentleman does too. You know, I've talked to some of the Masons recently, and they raise a lot of money there. It goes to their hospital, and you know, that's just a great thing for everybody, the families, the children, you know. And I think we need to try to get it worked out.
We just need to make sure he knows that if he needs an additional person or two or three or whatever it takes to set the machines up, that he's gonna have it there if he needs extra because of this. I mean, I don't see.
Can maybe we get someone from the board to volunteer to chair a meeting with this gentleman and the commission and work it out?
Yeah, Darcy may have be able to shed some light on it too, since
Okay.
her crews help with the machines.
Yeah, our crews, the recreation department crews do the setup for all the elections, and they put machines out on Fridays and Mondays. And for the last several years, we've been setting up the community center, the civic center on Monday. It's not a problem for my staff. I can put the resources to it to set up all the centers on Monday, if that would please the board. But we're gonna do what, I can't remember exactly what year it was, but there was a resolution brought before the board that said that all election setups will be done in county centers on the Friday before.
It was because of it originated, I believe, because of a conflict with the gun show, is why we did that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I wasn't here then, but we can handle the setup, whatever you all decide.
Y'all can do it though, and if you need extra help, we're more than willing
Yeah.
to help with that.
Okay, well then I will,
I hear from Crystal, the manager. I don't know Crystal's last name, I reckon.
okay, well, I'll volunteer to get the two groups together and we'll report back at the next meeting.
Anything else? Thank you for your time, and appreciate y'all recognize those young ladies a while ago. That is our future. I agree with you. That's why I do what I do, to get them involved in outdoors.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other general public comments? Yes, sir, in the back, please come up.
Sir, thank you so much. My name is Manuel Showles. I am a resident of Bay Springs, Mississippi. I also work for Pac-Mac Trucks out of Bay Springs, and I come before you today to invite you to an expo at the on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It's at the Convention Center on January the 18th and 19th. Primarily, we build vocational trucks, and the expo is primarily going to be a display, a presentation of vocational truck, as well as some training. We will have a couple of training sessions that does carry CEUs with it, and so we're going to have some training as well. There'll be some booths there as well, with financial people there to help with the financial end of it. And Mr. President, if I may, I would like to pass these invitations out, if that would be possible, or sit them on the desk or something. And thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Sure, pass them out, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Be honored to have you guys there.
I saw that online.
Thank you, Mr. Showles. Okay, any other general public comments? Okay, then we'll move on to item 10, which is our consent agenda. Being the first of the year, it's pretty significantly large. To approve the consent agenda, we need a motion.
Question that.
Mr. Cumbus made the motion. Was that Mr. Morris seconded? Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Consent agenda number 2. Supervisor Ross is leaving the meeting. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda number 2.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Marr, seconded by Mr. Bossarge. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Ross is returning to the meeting. We will move to item number 12, Department Heads, County Administrator, Mr. Fulton.
I have a few items today. The first one is travel, both required and discretionary.
Motion by Mr. Ross, I'll second it. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
The second item I have is regarding an insurance claim at the Community Action Playground. Had a fire out there on the playground at our Jefferson Street location a couple of weeks ago, and it burned the playground to the ground. And so we were, the playground is on our property, and we do have a right to make a claim on it, as I understand it, and just kind of wanted to make the board aware of that and just kind of get a head nod as to us moving forward with a claim to try to replace the playground that was burnt to the ground.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so
I don't know that I need a formal motion. I just wanted you guys to be aware of it and kind of give me some consent to go forward with the claim.
Gary, you good?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened with the fire? Why would?
We believe that it could have been arson. And I think there's some evidence that would prove that out, but want to keep that as a separate issue. We'll be following up with that too. And then the last item that I have is a discussion regarding Jackson County Utility Authority request for Go Mesa funding for the design phase match, I guess, for the new wastewater treatment plant in East Pascagoula. I received a letter from Eric Page, who's here, and I see Mr. Heidelberg is here as well. I received a letter from Eric last week regarding a request for financial assistance to help match a Corps of Engineers 219 grant that they received that would advance the design phase of the new wastewater treatment plant. And I believe this would replace the plant in Pascagoula, as well as possibly eliminate some discharge from the Moss Point and Gaucher plants as well. So it's a big project, huge project. It's been talked about for years now. I think the total construction is $250 to $300 million. But this grant was given, it's about an $8 million grant. It was given to advance the design phase to the final design of the plant. And I believe it's $8 million grant that they received. And they were looking for us to help with some $2.5 million in matching funds to help with their shortfall on it. The request was for Go Mesa funds, which is, it could qualify for Go Mesa. However, we've been real reluctant to spend any of our Go Mesa funds on design phase services, just because, we don't want the Inspector General to come to the county one day and say, hey, what'd you spend these Go Mesa funds on? And we spent them on a design that may or may not ever be constructed. And I hate to say it that way, but I mean, it's a $250 to $300 million project that at some point will have to be funded in full before it's constructed. But Eric's here, and let him give you kind of an update as to where they are with it, and we can talk some more about the request. I've got some ideas and thoughts on that, but Eric?
Sure, I appreciate you putting it on the agenda so that we can have a discussion about it. I believe about 9 to 11 months ago, we came and did a presentation on the current status of this East Jackson County Consolidated Water Reclamation Facility project. As the board's aware, roughly 10 years ago, JCUA initiated the feasibility study, structural analysis, and siting evaluation of the existing site. the site is going to have to ultimately be relocated at some point in the near future due to EPA and DEQ limits, harsher limits being imposed upon the discharge body of water, which is the Pascagoula River, at some point in the near future. DEQ's been saying that for over 11 years now. They have yet to do it. However, we have had some increased limits on our permit, which is forcing us to evaluate treatment processes at that facility, the Gaucher facility, and the Escataba facility. So the plan is to relocate all three of these facilities from their current location to a new plant, which would be somewhere on the east side of Pascagoula. The status of this project is we have spent a little over $5 million so far on siting, conceptual design, and some preliminary work to have this plant somewhat sized and sited. Of that $5 million, roughly $5.5 million, a little over $1.5 million is local funds, with around $4 million being federal share grant dollars that we've received. This next phase, which we were recently awarded $8 million through the 219 funds that the county actually is in charge of from the surface water treatment plant project. The $8 million was allocated during the last federal cycle. We have a little over $2.5 million match that's going to be required for that. We had funding set up and in place for that. However, at the last moment, that funding was removed due to current bond market structure for municipal style markets, which most of our backing, as you're aware, is from the cities. So that with the rates increasing as they are, the financial institutions are much less eager to incur the fluctuations in the market, if you will. And with that, we've come to you asking, is there any way that we could get some assistance with Go Mesa? I do agree with Brian that this is not construction. However, one of the main drawbacks in us procuring additional dollars for construction has been the fact that we are not, quote, shovel ready. This would get us to the shovel ready point. We did meet with EPA in Washington, D.C., the head of the WIFIA program and some other programs, and they told us, look, we would love to finance the ongoing permitting and beginning of this project and construction, but since you're not shovel ready, you're not currently eligible for this. So we're just trying to push this as fast as we can, as efficiently as we can, with as minimal impact to our customers as we can. And that's one reason why we're coming to you for Go Mesa, because this is direct funding impacts to each of us that live in Jackson County, because we're paying for the local shares, as we are all aware. So that's why we're initiating this request. And we do appreciate you evaluating it and analyzing it and discussing it.
Where y'all at on the rest of the money? You know, helping them's one thing. I don't mind helping, but if we can't get that other if y'all can't get that other $250 or $300 million, you know, we're kind of throwing money away, as I see it. But where's that process at?
Well, I agree with you. If the construction never takes place, then any money spent on preliminary design is as you say, a waste. Mm-hmm. However, ultimately, the project will have to be done, as EPA has let us know that the limits will be tighter on the discharge to the streams. So we're going to have to do it one way or another at some point in time. How is that money going to be raised? Well, like I said, when we met with EPA in Washington, D.C., they told us, look, if you were shovel ready, we would not have a problem pushing you forward through the WIFIA program or some other program, SRF, or some similar style program to get these dollars. But since you are not shovel ready, you're not eligible to receive those dollars. Mm-hmm. So until we get to that threshold, we can't tell you exactly where the money's coming from. We can say that they have reached out to us and said that this is a project that we're interested in. Environmental groups have reached out to us. This project would mitigate or almost fully eliminate the withdrawal of water from the Pascagoula River, which all the environmental groups, Sierra Club and others, are pushing forward from an environmental standpoint. But until we are shovel ready, we don't have the commitment from anyone for those construction dollars.
Okay. Eric, would those be 100% federal funds at that point, or would there be a local match on that?
It depends. The WIFIA program tends to have a local match, but we were looking at the possibility of SRF and WIFIA dollars along with potential grant dollars through the program. So it looked like somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 25% local match is what we were evaluating on the full construction.
And
Which
that would
that cost would be passed along to local citizens.
The SRF program is a loan program, a state revolving loan program. But isn't the WIFIA also a loan program, or at least a percentage of that?
WIFIA and SRF are both loan programs. However, when we were speaking with them, both WIFIA and SRF have principal forgiveness portions depending upon environmental issues that may be undertaken. And both of those programs, when we were speaking with them, assessed and identified that we would probably be eligible for a significant principal forgiveness portion.
Hey, Eric, also to make sure everybody understands that in the new design, there will be an industrial component where the treated wastewater will be industrial grade. So as Eric said, instead of pumping water from the Pasco River to send down to the industries, they'll be able to use this recycled water or treated water from this plant. So this plant is going to get money because it's going to have a customer base for the treated water, and it's not going to go in our rivers and streams and bayous and swamps and all that stuff.
And it is a unique project in that environmentally it meets EPA limit requirements for the river that they've identified that they're going to be releasing in the near future. It minimizes the amount of water being taken off from an environmental standpoint. And on the discharge side of the treatment plant, as Randy said, it is intended to be an industrial reuse facility where we will be able to send it to industry for reuse rather than being pumped back into the river. So, I mean, it's a win-win-win environmentally as far as all entities are concerned. That's one reason why it's gotten so much interest from not only the Corps of Engineers but EPA nationally.
And let them know too about the Escambia County Utility Authority, which is just a little bit bigger than our utility authority. They just built this plant. They've been through with it, what, 3 to 5 years or something like
Theirs
that?
was built, I think, roughly 6 to 7 years ago
Yeah.
now. Time gets away from us.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And the construction costs for their plant, I think, were roughly in the $80 to $100 million threshold, but inflation being what it is, and our plant's slightly a little different, but roughly $250,000. I've heard numbers thrown around to $500 million, but the swag, if you will, is roughly $250 million for the completed project.
Yeah, remember their treatment plant was on Pensacola Beach. And it was, when you came over the bridge, there was a treatment plant and it was pumping right out in Pensacola Bay. Kind of like our treatment plants right here at the edge of the river, and it's pumping into our river. So they got funding from the federal side, their state side, and their local side. So once they presented their project and it was shovel-ready, they got the funding they needed to do this project.
And that shovel-ready terminology is critical to be able to be identified as being able to be awarded these dollars. And that's where we're trying to get to. And thankfully, through not only your partnership, but also the efforts of Senators Wicker and Hyde-Smith, we were able to get this $8 million allocated. We're trying to utilize these federal funds to minimize the impact to our local citizens, because if these dollars go away, ultimately, we're going to have to do it, but it'll have to be built into the rate structure. And we're trying to minimize that impact as much as we can.
Like I said, I don't have a problem helping them, but if we don't want to use the Go Mesa or mess with that, I think we ought to step back a little and let's work it out.
Yeah, let's
I think we
talk
work
through
it out
it.
and come back together.
I've got some ideas. I know, you know, the ARPA funds can be used for water sewer type projects, but this doesn't really fit into that MCWI program that the state has, and so there's really no match part of that. It's possible, you know, and we'll talk about it in just a minute because we got another request, but we may have some leftover ARPA funds that we could pull back into the general fund and use for something like this. But that would probably be a better solution than trying to go the Go Mesa route, if the board wanted to look at that.
I think we should.
We need to
you know.
fully support it. What's your deadline on this application?
There's no hard and fast deadline, but within the next 45 days, we need to try to have an answer as best we can. And I do greatly appreciate you talking with us and working with us as you have. You've been a good partner, and I do appreciate that.
When they measure that and when they lower the sample, what's allowed to be in the sample, are you sampling directly out of your pipe or is it out of the river after it's gone into the river?
We have roughly 35 to 40 sampling locations, which we sample around the county. And I've actually come and shared that with you.
Right.
But when the EPA states what the allowable discharge limits are for, and specifically the issue for us is going to be nutrients. It's going to be nitrogen and phosphorus. And that is from specifically our discharge point, our effluent pipe going out of our facility is where we have to sample for that purpose.
Right, so it's what we're actually putting from our county into it.
Yes.
Okay. You know, and I agree, we need to do something with it. We just need to make sure that EPA or somebody is going to have some funding source to do something before we really commit a lot of dollars.
We have aging facilities that are over 50 years old they do a great job at keeping them up, but that's about all they can do is keep them up. So we're gonna, this county, in my opinion, infrastructure, water and sewer is the most important thing that this board needs to be focused on for this county, because the utility authority treats all the sewer from all the cities and throughout the county. So they're responsible for treating all that, and if they don't have the facilities to treat that, then there might be one, and I hate to be scare y'all, but it might be a day we can't flush. And I know everybody likes to flush, you know, so there might be a day we might not be able to. So I'm just telling you, this infrastructure is very important, and we need to be totally committed to it.
And I'm also interested in the project. I talked with Johnny Grew about the Seaman Road project, and I'd like to know where we are on that and how much we really need to make that happen, because that's a more reachable goal more quickly, it seemed to me. It seemed like that was maybe a $20 million project. So that seems like that's something that could get pushed through faster.
Well, we actually have a meeting next week in Jackson with SRF on our treatment plant on Seaman Road, which does need capacity improvements. As you all are well aware, the west side of the county is where most of the growth has been occurring, and we do have capacity issues at that treatment plant. But we've got a meeting next week with SRF in Jackson to discuss that project, and I think SRF's going to push that through for us. So that immediate critical need appears like it's going to be met.
Okay.
Let me ask a question, please. The term shovel-ready kind of spooks me a little bit. What do you mean when you say shovel-ready? Say design is complete, construction has not started. Where would we be with shovel-ready?
Shovel-ready indicates that you have a design on hand which is capable for going out to procurement. You can put it on the street for bids, and you have permitting completed. We've got a preliminary jurisdictional wetland determination for the property in question that we're looking at, but we don't have any of the other permits that we need to begin construction.
Okay.
So shovel-ready means you have plans that you can put on the street. In a project of this size, as you can imagine, it's going to be roughly a 2-year process to go from conceptual or 30% design to finished design. We've got everything thumbnail, rule of thumb, idea on what size we need components to be, where it's going to be, how it's going to be fit together, but we need 100% finished design, permit in hand to be able to break ground and go out and advertise for bids for contractors.
Okay.
And that's what I mean when I say shovel-ready.
Okay. Not an easy thing to accomplish.
No, sir.
Or
On a
time-wise.
project of this size, the complexity and the working parts that all have to fit together, from funding to everything else, it's been an exercise.
Okay. Okay.
I greatly appreciate you allowing me to talk with you. I look forward to talking with you next week, perhaps, as we go forward.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, still within department heads, we will move to finance. Ms. Wells?
Good morning. Only item I have today is the order approving the claims docket.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Cumbest, I will second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Krebs?
Good morning. The item I have before you is employee information.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ross, seconded by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Thank you for being on top of that aye there, Mr. Morris. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation, item number 13, Ocean Springs Chamber of Commerce, Main Street Tourism Bureau. Ms. Sutton?
For
Yeah,
that.
Joe.
Pardon?
Joe Neal.
He had an amendment.
Oh,
Policy, COVID policy.
COVID policy.
oh, I'm sorry. Joe, come on up. I'm sorry. Yeah, that department head, I'm sorry.
Yeah, COVID policy.
Good morning. I would like to ask the board if y'all would reinstate our previous COVID policy that expired on December 31st for December 31st of 2023. Y'all would be.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Yep, we're still having trouble.
Still having issues.
Yep.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bossard, seconded by Mr. Cumbus. Any discussion? If not,
Until when?
sir?
End of this year.
End of this year, last day of 23.
Any further discussion, comments, questions? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Joe.
Motion carries. Okay, I'm sorry. Now we'll go to number 13, Ms. Sutton.
Hey y'all, I'm Cynthia Sutton, Director of the Ocean Springs Chamber Main Street Tourism Bureau. This is Morgan Brossard, she's assistant. She handles her tourism. And I have some folks with me in the audience that's on our board. If you will, just kind of raise your hand so people can see that you guys are here as part of our team. So we just wanted to come by today and give you guys an update a little bit about, hopefully you guys all know, but we're just going to tell you guys a little bit about who we are, what we do. Some of our, of course, stats are still coming in, as you guys know that with the sales tax figures and things like that. But I want to thank you guys for participating, being a part of our events and our festivals, and thank you INIT for recommending us to give you guys some of these updates. So thank you guys for everything. So to start, I just want to tell you guys just who we are. Ocean Springs Chamber Main Street Tourism Bureau. You see our mission up there: to promote tourism, provide progressive leadership for economic and community vitality for the greater Ocean Springs, Jackson County area and Gulf Coast, and enhance local culture and preserve quality of life through planned growth, diversification, and beautification. A lot of words for who we are and what we do. So just to remind you guys, don't forget we're a chamber, we're a Main Street, and we are a tourism bureau, which means we are kind of unique. We are 3 entities in one. Of course, you guys understand what a Chamber of Commerce role is, and we do that with, you'll see here, are some of our networking events that we have hosted. I'll tell you guys what some of those are. In 2022, 2021, 2022, we hosted 10 business after hours, 4 breakfasts with the mayors. We do 13 staple community events. And I'll tell you a little bit about why that's so important. You'll see we do town tour guides. Don't know if you guys, hopefully you guys have copies of those that we've been producing for a few years with our partner with South Mississippi Living. We do downtown walking maps because we have a lot in our little downtown walkability. And you'll see we garnered about 350,000 visitors this last year. Our numbers are down, of course, since COVID, but we've also done some cool things, created some new events. You guys all have a fact sheet up there with you. I know it's kind of a long fact sheet, but towards the end of the fact sheet, you'll see some of the new things that we created this year are cappuccino with cops. Frappuccino with Fire, some of our appreciation events that we do. We actually think that's really cool of being a part of the community. We also are a Main Street organization. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. And of course, we have a tourism arm. We have a visitor center in Ocean Springs. I encourage all of you guys to come by and visit. I know some of you guys have. We are also considered the marketing arm of our city. With that, we work with the city to promote and bring people into town. You guys will see on the screen here a few of our marketing materials that we do. I told you we produce an annual tour guide. We produced 40,000 copies of those in this past year. We distribute those everywhere to the 12 welcome centers, state conferences, everywhere. We also do a downtown walking map. That is actually one of the most popular items in our town. And of course, we put together a strong calendar of events. Or social media. We hope you guys follow us on social media. It's very popular. We have several social media outlets. Of course, we have our website, but we also have a Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. We also have Instagram pages. We have a town Chamber Instagram page, which is our tourism photography page. A lot of travel writers pull photos from that site, so we actually hired a photographer to help us keep that site looking really good with photos from around town. We also have an Eats page, Ocean Springs Eats, Instagram. If you guys haven't heard about that, please follow it. It's really, really cool. It is literally close-ups of mouth-watering food from each of our restaurants, not just downtown, all around town. So it's really cool. We have a photographer, like I said, on staff that captures that kind of stuff. And of course, I mentioned our website. We just updated our website in the last quarter of the year. It lists on the homepage where you can click and get a relocation packet. You can click and learn about business services if you're developing a new business in town. So it's got all kind of stuff on our website. So please check that out. We also have a cool text message marketing program in partnership with the city. The city has one, the Chamber of Main Street. We have one as well. The city keeps you updated on the road closures and things like that, and we keep you guys updated on the fluff. So make sure you join our text message marketing program so you know when our festivals, our events, our awards, and things like that happen. Here's just a couple of things of our advertising. Again, we are the marketing arm of the city of Ocean Springs, so our job is to go out there and bring tourists into our community. So we advertise in different publications, print publications. We still do print publications because you'll see why our demographic still is in need for that. So that's some of our print publications that we do, general town advertising, some of our events that we advertise. We also have a merchandise line that we've started. We are trademarking the I Love OS brand to be a community brand for the town of Ocean Springs. So we are in the final stages of that, and that's some of our merchandise that we pushed out. It's kind of fun, kind of popular. We have little buttons and stickers that our tour groups love when they come into town. And another part of our job is public relations. Push out the story pitches, push out ideas to publications in the South region and wherever. So you'll see that we've garnered some national coverage. That's a list of some of our awards that we have won. We also have some great articles featured in Expedia, Where to Retire. And of course, we actually helped garner the award for the 2022 Best Coastal Small Town Award that we won by USA Today. We went out on the streets and told everybody to vote. So that was a very cool award that the community of Ocean Springs has got for the county, for the state. I think that's a cool thing that we do. We go out there and we try to tell people to come cover Ocean Springs. We work with travel writers, motor coaches every month. Here's just a quick little snap of who our team, who makes all this happen. We're a relatively small team. We have 3 full-time staff members and some helpers, our board of directors. We have a really cool volunteer team called the Chamber Assistant Team. If any of you guys want to help, please come be a part of that. I know Brian Fulton has helped us a lot at several of our events, so you guys can be a part of that team as well. I know Troy has as well too, and in it. So thank you guys for being a part of our team. We also have a cool ambassador program, part of our chamber arm. But you guys know our local demographics of our town, and I'm pointing this out for a reason. You guys know that our population is growing. We have over 18,000, you know, our top employers. But the whole point of mentioning that, in Ocean Springs, we're a little unique. As you guys know, our business is small business. And as you'll see with our downtown walkability area, which is really where the highest concentration of traffic, of foot traffic comes, but we get the tourist traffic to stay in our hotels and everywhere. So you'll see our sales tax numbers continue to grow. You'll see when we talk about festivals that in the last 2 years, our sales tax has increased by over I'll use the month of January, you'll see in a second, over 200,000. And we like to say that's in part because of some of the things that we do, our festivals and the things that we do in our town. More than 50% of our small business is tourist traffic. I think that's really unique to point out because that hasn't always been the case. So it's really neat to see how the Ocean Springs community has really become a tourist destination. So just to recap some of those numbers, tell you a couple of things. Some of the things that we distributed in this last year, we made 40,000 walking mats and distributed those all over. 40,000 town tourism guides. We welcomed 300 to 350,000 folks. Now those numbers are still coming in. We'll have more accurate numbers in the next month. We also do tourism bags for conferences. We produced over 10,000 of those. And we had visitors from 46 states and 4 countries. So I think that's really cool. One day we're going to hit the 50 states. One day we'll get all 50 states. But a cool thing is some of our countries. We're in Ocean Springs. The majority of the folks that come from a different country are going to usually be Canada or the UK. So that's been consistent over the years. Where do these folks come from? They come from, like I said, all over the United States with those 46 states and those 4 countries. Of course, we focus on the drive-in market of tourism and with our tourism dollars because it's more affordable to focus on that. But thanks to some other things, we can actually get some folks in town further away. I'll tell you that in just a second. So, who are our visitors? Our visitors that come to town are age range 35 to 55. Men or women? Of course, women. More than 80% of the folks that come, women. Why? Because we're a shopping destination. And the median income is from $50,000 to $100,000 that come to our community from all over the United States, from those 46 states and those 4 countries. So I think that's really cool to see that demographic. How do they hear about us? Can you believe the #1 source of how people still hear about our community is word of mouth? We're all this digital age, this social age. We do all of that. We keep up with all of those times. But through our surveys, the #1 form of way people hear about us is still word of mouth. Of course, followed by social media, our festival and events, and of course our website. With that being said, we like to tell everybody and remind everybody that part of our mission through Main Street is economic development and preservation. We want the town to grow in ways that enhance the town's assets, such as this beautiful tree canopy. Hope you guys had a chance to see our downtown lighting partnered with the city of Ocean Springs for the holidays, how we wrapped all those trees. It's arts, culture, and it's people. In our town, we don't have, of course, we all know this, some of the big boxes. So how do we generate traffic to those small towns, to our small businesses? Small business is our business, and if those folks, majority of those folks come in from out of town, how do we do it? We feel we have a part and through our festivals that do that. And what I want to tell you guys is I'm not going to go through all of our festivals because we generate 13 festivals a year, festivals and events. There's only 12 months. Small team, small staff that puts all that together. But we work hard to literally bring people into town. And how we do that is primarily through our festivals and events. And I'm going to just point out a couple of things. I'm not going to go through all of our festivals. I'm just going to highlight a few. You guys know coming up, we are coming up with Mardi Gras season, and we work with some folks and do economic impact studies every year to get some of these numbers. And we do 2 parades, of course, as you guys know, in Ocean Springs. And last year brought in almost 100,000 people to our town. You'll see, that's what I'm talking about, the sales tax. 600,000, if you look on the January and February sales tax, on average, I just averaged it, was a little higher, was a little lower. Averaged about 600,000. 2 years ago, that number was in the 400,000s. So I think we're doing something right. Just highlighting some months. Every month we do something, January, February, March, every month. But in March, I don't know if you guys know that March is also a big month for our town, especially our restaurants, to provide revenue. We do a series of events, St. Patrick's Day celebration. We also do the Spring Arts Festival. Hope you guys are familiar with that. It used to be called the Urban Garden Festival with 54 booths. It's now a mini Peter Anderson Festival with 200 booths. Encompasses the half of the Peter Anderson footprint in downtown. And that actually brings visitors, as you'll see. I just put some demographics up there so you can see it. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, Wisconsin. Vendors come from Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, Texas, Mississippi, Virginia, Oklahoma, and just this last year. So that's really cool to see the exposure that we're doing when we can only do the local regional marketing through word of mouth, through our festivals. We're reaching throughout the United States to tell these visitors, families, and folks to come to town. May is another big month for us. We've called it Food Month. With over 130 restaurants throughout our town, we decided to do a series of events. We host Restaurant Week. We host Free Food Fridays, which is a social media giveaway of food through gift cards. And, of course, we do Taste of Ocean Springs. I hope you guys visited. I know some of you guys did Taste of Ocean Springs over the last 10 years. COVID transitioned it to a food crawl, and now our restaurants don't want it to go back. It is a huge event, great exposure. People for our food crawl come a far way last year as Texas just to attend, just because a family member told them about the events and activities in Ocean Springs. I'd like to point out our fun event in June, Red, White, and Blueberry Festival. I know Brian helps us with that event every year. It takes a lot of volunteer hours to do what we do. That I call, okay, we do two different types of events. We do, of course, revenue generating events like Peter Anderson, Cruisin', Spring Arts Festival. Then we also do just good quality of life community events that we don't do it for any revenue to the organization. It's just for the community. And the July Red, White, and Blueberry Festival is one of those that brings people just from the Gulf Coast area just to enhance the coast, just to make people happy for a weekend. And even a small event like that took 95 volunteer hours to put that together. So that's interesting. You guys know about Cruising the Coast. Economic Impact Study brings $6 million to the Ocean Springs community. About 100,000 people came last year. Peter Anderson Festival, you guys know that. Truly amazing this 2022 year. One of the largest festivals, Peter Anderson festivals we've had. And it brought in just vendors alone. Sales in their actual vendor sales, 1.2 million over 2 days, just to our community. Now the sales tax that we put back into the state was more than 85,000. We also have a big holiday promotion time in Ocean Springs as well. So the whole reason why I wanted to tell you guys that, because our job is to generate traffic, revenue, and quality of life to Ocean Springs. And how do we do that? We do that by these events, by these festivals, by these activities. And do you know, to this day now, tourism traffic is more than 60% of our businesses' traffic to Ocean Springs to help them sustain. So with that being said, just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about who we are, what we do. Follow us on our social media. And so anybody have any questions of what we do, some of our advertising, some of our marketing, some of our events and things that we do each year. And again, when we will give you guys those updates on some of our figures once the rest of those come through in January and February. And we'll announce them at our annual meeting as well. Any questions, guys?
I think you said it all.
You did it all.
Oh, I could have said a lot more, but I was talking as fast as I could.
You did it all.
Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
I don't think that was a presentation.
Okay, I need to make an apology. I failed to introduce someone earlier when we had the award recognition to Ray Langford. Christian Hartley, hold your hand up. She is very active in the community. She was there with Tia and I when we were presenting that to Mr. Langford. Christian is very active in United Way, Singing River Health System trustees, and I apologize for not introducing you at that proper time. Good to see you. Okay, let's move on to item 14, action items, state delegation.
Okay, I don't really have a federal update today, so all it will be is the state delegation. As you know, the legislative session begins today, and I'll be headed to Jackson tomorrow. I know some of you also will be. And we'll be meeting with our delegation and our consultants and going over our legislative agenda that you guys are aware of. So trying to secure funding through a few different sources for projects, and also the mental health legislation that we put together last meeting. Also, it's brought to my attention that the local and private that we have with the Mississippi Maritime Museum expires this year. That additional amount that we were allowed to give them for a 5-year period, $40,000 a year. But the legislation does allow us to continue to contribute up to $5,000 a year going forward. And I haven't heard anything new from them. That was the commitment that we made to them, and I believe we've fulfilled that commitment. And so just wanted to let you know that. And then I guess finally, the thing that's on the agenda here, West Jackson County Utility District has requested some additional ARPA funds from the county to match in this MCWI water sewer program that the state has. They were funded in the first round, and we pledged $1 million to their first project. But this is a second round request for another $1 million for a sewer project in the Cedar Grove area, I believe, about a $7.5 million project there. You know, to date, the board hasn't really taken a position on round 2 projects. We supported several, like 18 round 1 projects, and if all those projects were funded, that would take up about $14 million of our, about half of our ARPA funds that come to the county as part of the process. 8 out of those 18 projects were funded in round 1, so we are committed to over $6 million in ARPA funds for those projects that were funded. And we understand that a lot, or if not all, of those projects would be funded in round 2, which would give us, you know, committed to have $14 million worth of projects. This is a second round request of $1 million, and West Jackson County is here to tell you about it just a little bit, and then you guys can think if you want to try to fund that request up to another $1 million from the county's ARPA funds.
Thank you, Brian. Jay Ruffin, Deputy Director of West Jackson County Utility District. It's going to be kind of tough to follow that presentation, but I'll try. I should have went after Eric there. Yeah, this is a request for a second project for ARPA and NCWI grant funding. I apologize. I would have submitted this during the first round, but I was not aware there could be multiple projects. But this project is $7.6 million estimated project from North Cedar Grove. It's old clay piping. It's given us a lot of problems. It's collapsing. We're having to make multiple repairs monthly. The system's over 60 years old. It was probably built. We took it over about 20 years ago. And it is actually a shovel-ready job, as we were discussing earlier. So this is a project that's ready to go. We know we have to do it. We just have to find a way to fund it. And we'd like your assistance with that. That's our request there.
Give you a rundown on ARPA funds. The county received about $28 million. We transmitted, or we gave the hospital system about $4 million, which leaves us with 24, and then we had about 14 million committed in round 1 projects, which brings us down to 10. And $10 million is kind of the amount that we can bring back in to the general fund through a revenue loss provision. And so that was kind of our plan. You know, hospital gets 4 million, we'll give 14 million out in water sewer projects, and then we'd have 10 million to bring back in. So, but there's no guarantee that all these projects will be funded through that program. And so, you know, it sounds like a great project. I mean, I know the residents out there need that, and it's a matching program. So I mean, we're putting up half the money, and the other half will be put up by the state if it gets funded. So I think it's a good investment, but it's up to you guys to decide.
What is the total dollar amount of this project?
Around 7.6 is what we're estimating currently.
We put $1 million and we get 6.6 that aren't our dollars.
We'll get a match of $1 million from the state, so it'll be 2 towards this project.
Right, and then the district's paying for the rest.
Correct.
About 4.6, 4.5.
Somewhere around there.
Okay. Well, I know Cedar Grove is one of the older neighborhoods that has pipes that are just as old as the neighborhood. They haven't been replaced, and we always have problems. It tears our roads up. We have to go back and repair roads all the time. I'm in favor of the project. I'll make a motion to go ahead and support it.
We're gonna need a resolution like we did on the round one. And we can, if y'all wanna act on it today, you can, but we'll need to prepare that resolution that goes into their grant application if y'all wanna do that.
So, will there be enough money left for the sewer treatment plant, match?
I think there would be, Randy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against what y'all are doing. We can replace the pipe, but where are you gonna send it to? If we don't have a place to treat it, where are you gonna send it to? You know what I'm saying? So I'm all about infrastructure. I think I've made that clear since I've been on this board. I'm willing to do this project, but I also want this treatment center thing taken care of, because like I said, we can fix all this stuff in the county. If we don't have a place to treat it, then what we're gonna do with it, you know? So.
That stuff's treated on Seaman Road.
Yeah, but still, we gotta do upgrades to Seaman Road too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Seaman Road is the youngest plant we have, and it was built in the early 90s. So, you know, it's aging. It's gotta be, it's got some issues too. Absolutely. You know, so there again, I'll second Troy's, motion, but we've got to make sure this treatment facility issue's taken care of too.
Gary, should we wait till the next meeting and do a regular resolution like we've done in the past?
Yep. You good with that, Troy?
Yeah, does the time matter?
The deadline is the 31st of January, so the next meeting.
It'd be in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That could give me enough time.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I'll withdraw that motion.
Okay, I'll withdraw my second.
We'll have something on our next meeting to address it.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Okay, we'll now move to item 15, the supervisor's items. The item A is appoint an interim sheriff for Jackson County, which will be until the November election.
And I'll make a motion that we appoint Chief Deputy John Ledbetter for that appointment.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cumbest. I'll second it. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay. And it's not because I don't think John can do the job. I know he can, but I've always taken the position that I'm not in favor of voting for somebody that's gonna run for the job. I always like the elections to be open to anybody that wants to run, so that's my main reason for opposing it. But John will do a great job at it.
Okay, congratulations, John. Shall we have our Chancery Clerk swear John in right now?
Please raise your right hand. I, John, and repeat after me. I, John Ledbetter. I, John Ledbetter. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully support. That I will faithfully support. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Mississippi. And the Constitution of the State of Mississippi. And obey the laws thereof. And obey the laws thereof. That I am not disqualified. That I am not disqualified. From holding the position. From holding the position. Of Sheriff for Jackson County, Mississippi. Of Sheriff for Jackson County, Mississippi. And that I will faithfully discharge. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office. And the duties of the office. Upon which I am about to enter. Upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. So help me God.
Thank you, John. All right.
District 1 Supervisor, Mr. Cumbus, has an item.
I do. I'll make a motion that we reappoint Ms. Mary Ann Goff to the Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College Board of Trustees for Jackson County.
I'll second that.
She has been vetted.
She's been good.
Okay, motion by Mr. Cumbus, seconded by Mr. Bossarge. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. That is all of the supervisor items. I do not see anything for executive session. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we need a motion to recess until,
I'll make a motion to recess till January 16th at 9 a.m.
Second.
That is on Tuesday, right?
okay, Mr. Cumbus, Mr. Morris, January 16th.
Yeah, isn't that, Martin Luther King Day?
Oh, wait a minute, we may
Yeah,
have to
it's
back
on the
up.
17th.
We gotta go to
So
17th.
we gotta do the 17th.
I'll withdraw that and make it 17th.
Okay, so we have a motion to recess until January the 17th, 9 a.m.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cumbus, seconded by Mr. Bossarge. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are recessed. Thank y'all.
Right.